Hi, this is Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo, and you're listening to Without Your Head.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil. Hello?
Yeah, and I'm John Dugan. I was waiting for Annabelle to say something.
I was too.
And I'm Annabelle.
Is Annabelle still with us?
Okay, I'm Annabelle.
Uh-oh.
Did that not work out? Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Totally said it. But this is Annabelle Lecter.
Excellent.
Yes.
And this is Without Your Head.
Yes, definitely. And we're joined by John Dugan, and clearly this is a well-oiled machine here without your head, and it's great to have you back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
how you guys?
It's been a long time.
Hey.
Is it just the two of you tonight?
Troy will probably be here a little bit later.
Troy, we do the earlier show, so Troy's a little behind. And I don't think you've met Seth yet. Young Seth.
Yeah, there's a fourth host here as well. They should be here in a little bit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say hi to Troy.
Yeah.
Since we're like brothers.
Definitely.
Troy's the man.
Yeah, he's not too bad. I mean, you guys don't see him too often. I see him all the time, so you get kind of tired of him after a while. But
yeah, I'm sure he's thrilled every time he sees you.
Well, reversed, I'm sure he is. He's very happy. No, Troy's
reverse thrilled? No, what's that?
No, Troy's
John,
a great guy.
John, it has been way too long. As we said before we started the show, it's been for me, actually for both of us, many years. And last time you were on this show, I wasn't able to make it. So I haven't spoken with you in forever.
Yeah, it's been 3 or 4 years, I believe.
Yeah, hold on. I got to take these vegetables out of the oven.
Fair enough.
That bowl?
What do you got cooking?
Sorry, I'm fajitas.
Oh, fajitas.
Oven roasted. Ouch, that motherfucker. Ooh. We'll let that cool for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of spaced out that we had this thing, so I started cooking.
Oh, that's all right.
And I was like, oh shit.
we could go to break and call you back.
Come back?
Yeah.
The gang together?
No. I may have to put my phone down for like 2 seconds so I can use two hands to do something.
Okay, do what you have
to
do something.
So no, it's been far too long, and I hopefully this year we'll bump into each other somewhere. I was hoping to see you in Syracuse this weekend, but I guess that's not going to happen. So
Easter weekend.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Mm-hmm. But it's a pretty cool festival they have there Saturday. It's like from like 11 to 2 in the morning. Oh
man, you ought to see the schedule I'm on. I'm flying out tomorrow evening. Really, from here. I don't leave Nashville until 6:15 or something like that. I arrive in Syracuse at 11 o'clock or something like that. Then go to work at 9 o'clock and work until like 11 o'clock at night. And then fly out at 6 a.m. on Sunday, Easter Sunday morning. I mean, I have absolutely no time at all.
Yeah, so that's something we talked about too, is we're like, we want to see John, but it's going to be rough.
I'm not going to have any time. Have you been to that thing before?
We've been to Syracuse.
We've been to Syracuse we went to the Human Centipede Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been out there.
Well, you guys are big fans of Human Centipede. What did you watch? Like all three of them in a row? Like it was a marathon or something?
Yeah, it was like a whole bunch of stuff happening.
And we were dressed. Like I was dressed as Lawrence Harvey's character Martin, and Annabelle was dressed as Dr. Hyder.
Oh, excellent. Was Lawrence there?
No.
Too bad.
How would you like Lawrence?
Him in a couple of years,
yeah.
I love Lawrence Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
He's an interesting cat.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Very, very smart man.
I saw him in England, as a matter of fact, a few years ago.
Oh, really?
At a con there, yeah. And he had the same situation. He was only there for one day, and he had to get a train and go back. He was hoping to hang out with his friends and stuff who were over from the States, but he had to go. So, but I think I may have seen him since then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's all, you know, the whole road thing is all just gets all mixed up in your head, and you can't remember anything about where and when.
I was asking, like, in general, if you can, when you're at a new place, do you like to look around, or do you prefer to go there and leave?
No, I'd like to have the opportunity to look around.
Yeah.
But you never do. You know, it's what happens. And that time that I was in England, I actually scheduled an extra day, you know, and I was assured, okay, we got you an extra day in the hotel and all that stuff. And I woke up on Monday at about 11 o'clock in the morning with the phone in my room ringing, asked me when I was clearing the room because they needed to clean it. I said, no, and so these people had not arranged for a room for me for Monday night. So I was going to fuck around in Manchester or whatever. So I had to spend the day trying to find a room to spend the night so I could go to the airport the next day. It just kind of ruined the whole thing. Plus took about 25% of what I made because I had to pay a fortune for a room on short notice, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I would like to be able to stick around, particularly if it's an overseas thing. You know, so once you're over there, you know, it's like, could you just send me back on Wednesday instead of Sunday? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I've not had the opportunity.
When you're back in Germany, Vera misses you very much from Germany. She'd like you back.
Who?
You know Vera? She's our friend from Germany. Vera, no.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know Vera. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to get back there. I was hoping to go this year, but it didn't work out. I think I may be able to get back there next year. And I've been this year, I've been in the Netherlands, and I've been in Wales. And that was a fast trip as well. I was just in and out, 2 countries in 2 days. And
it's kind of like torture, I would think, because you're there and you meet people from there, but you just got to stay in your room. You like your convention center.
Yeah, you don't really get to see a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing Birmingham, England, on Halloween weekend, and Stacy might be coming. She might be coming as a handler for some people. So we would be there together. And I said, you know, we could swing it to stay a few days. You know, have our return tickets just pushed back, and I said we could even from Birmingham, we could even catch a ferry across to Dublin, and go get my Irish passport and then never come back to this godforsaken fucking Trump place. But I guess we shan't talk politics.
You can have dual citizenship. You can get dual citizenship.
Yes, I can get dual citizenship, and by October, Stacy and I will be married. We're getting married in 6 weeks. We're getting married on. Thank you. We're kind of excited. We're getting married on Memorial Day weekend because all her 800 sisters will be back in town. She's the oldest of 20. Just not a boy in the family. Not 20 really. Seems like it. Seems like it with their husbands and their kids and everything. It's only 5, but so anyway, we're getting married.
Neil saw you when you were with Stacy, but I haven't. But you guys look so happy in all the pictures I've seen of you. You look fantastic.
I actually think
we're having a ball. We are just having so much fun. We have this little house in the middle of nowhere, up on a ridge in Tennessee. We don't live no holler. No, we live up on the ridge. We don't talk to them holler dwellers down there. But you know, it's literally on a dirt road. We live like 200 yards off the paved road. You know, where the pavement ends, and then it just goes dirt way off into the hills forever. You know, kind of scary actually. We took a drive one afternoon, just kind of meandering around these dirt roads and everything, and and you have to drive through creeks and stuff. There's these kind of half bridges that are half underwater and shit like that. I don't know if you've ever driven across anything like that, but and we're driving alongside this creek, and there's a huge kind of ramshackle barn, and there's a deserted house that's all falling down, and there's a little bitty camping trailer. And the family, there's like a family of 5 sitting at a kitchen table in the yard having dinner. That apparently they all live in this camping trailer. I mean, this is not a house trailer. It was a camping trailer, an old beat-up camping trailer. And they all stopped what they were doing and just stared at us as we drove by. It was like, oh my God, this is like right out of Chainsaw or something. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Are you worried? So are you going to become a food source at some point?
Yeah, I know. We were both like, don't look at him. Just look ahead. Try not to stare. But you can only go 3 miles an hour because the dirt road with giant holes in it, so you can't just punch it and take off,
Trying to fly by and just grrr.
So, I mean, it's very rural out here, but it's beautiful.
So those
beautiful. I'm on my porch right now. Are those your nearest
neighbors? Or are they just far off? Do you think you could even find those people ever again?
I can find that area. I think I could find that area again. I think it's across the holler and down the other hill. if my sense of direction is working. But once you get once you get off the paved road, the roads don't really go straight or anything anymore. They all follow creek beds and old game trails and things like that. So it's weird.
What do you have for a vehicle? You have like a big Jeep or something like that?
No, just a little Ford Focus. It's a workhorse, man.
That's amazing. That is an advertisement for Ford Focus. Like I would never.
Yeah. Drives through creeks and everything. But I'm sure you don't want to talk about life in rural Tennessee. So I see you were asking people. You were asking people if they had any questions for me.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them here.
Mm-hmm. I sent in a question.
Yeah. John Dugan wants to know, can you lick your own eyebrows?
Absolutely. Actually, when you're old and if you're old and from a Celtic background, it becomes necessary to lick your own eyebrows just to keep them
now, is that
keep in order.
Your tongue is long or your eyebrows are long? Which one is it? A long
it's
tongue?
It's a little bit of both. It's both. Long tongue plus long eyebrows.
They meet in the middle.
Yeah, I can't get the eyebrows. I can touch my nose, but it's quite a distance to the eyebrows. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Your eyebrows? Gross.
No, I can't lick my own eyebrows, but I can lick my own nose if I so desire.
How far up on your nose can you go?
Just to the tip.
Inside.
Can you stick it like in your nostrils and just ream them out? Can you ream out your nostrils?
See, this is why the show should be on video, because I was actually trying that.
I'd love to be able to stick my tongue in my nostril, just twirl it around and pull boogers out and everything.
That would be great to do, like at the convention. Just sitting at the table.
It would be great. Wouldn't that be great? I'd love to be able to do shit like that.
Maybe if I didn't have teeth, I might be able to.
What a talent that would be.
In life. Neil has set his sights high. This is his new goal, to train his tongue to go up his nose.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty sweet.
And twirl inside there, like do a 180 at least. I guess you couldn't do a 360. You could probably do a 355.
See here. What other questions? Well, there's a lot of questions here. Dylan James wants to know, this is a very good question. What's your favorite color?
I've always been fond of like secondary and tertiary colors. I like turquoise and purple and I like gray. I like all shades of gray. I actually like purple and gray together. I think there's something soothing about it. But I also like green.
Mm-hmm. That's always been my standby favorite color.
So I guess that's not a primary color, is it? Green, but I like green. As far as primary colors, probably I'd have to go yellow, I think.
Wow.
Annabelle really hates the yellow.
I don't hate yellow.
I'm sorry,
it has to
Annabelle.
be in the right place. No, Neil always exaggerates to make me look bad. Yellow, I like it if it's in a context. It's like you have a yellow flower. Beautiful. Different yellow things. Depends on where it's at.
But what if it's a pair of like jockey shorts that are supposed to be white?
It's just yellow right in the spot in the front.
Just curious. Because I happen to be wearing a pair, right?
I believe that's what you were going to wear for the Guys and Fries photo shoot. That
yes. I want. Was they're all stretched out around the leg holes and everything? I've always liked that look. What happened to our Guys and Fries calendar? What happened to it?
It came up again recently. Someone else was interested. Oh, Nicholas Vince was interested in doing it. So maybe we'll have to bring that back.
Are you sure he was interested?
He said he was.
Just laughed?
He said he was interested. I sent him a picture of
Nicholas. Circus Envy? Is that?
No, he's from Hellraiser, the Chatterer.
Oh, okay.
Really sweet guy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Vincent somebody, not Nicholas Vincent. I'm thinking of Vincent Nicholas. I don't know what I'm thinking of.
There's a Vincent with the puppets, right? Or the Vincent guy from Night of the Living Dead.
I was thinking of that scary clown from the con circuit.
But I'm not sure what his real name is. But
Circus Envy guy.
Yeah. He was. I met him at one of the Days of the Dead.
Yeah, they have that huge setup that's in the corner. Really neat, old sort of sideshow kind of canvases hanging and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the trailer for It?
No, I haven't.
It looks good.
I can't hear you. You're going away.
It looks very good.
It looked good.
It actually.
It has to be better than the damn miniseries because it sucked. I thought it was terrible.
I've always liked it.
You probably read the book. Did you read the book?
Oh yes, I read the book. I love the book. But the made-for-TV thing was I just thought it was awful. And I have, for some reason, I hate to admit this because everybody loves him, but I have always found Richard, that played John Boy Walton. I've always found him extremely irritating for some reason.
He has a very calm voice, almost too calm.
Huh?
His voice is a little annoying. It's almost too
his
calm.
voice is. I want him to clear his throat or something. His voice drives me nuts. I've never seen what the big. I've never seen him in anything that just kicks my ass to say, man, he did. Whoa, he killed in that. He's just never. I've always thought he was really overrated, and I hope that doesn't get back to him, but I'm sure it will.
No one.
I'm sure he's a really nice guy, and he's a fine actor. But I find him irritating to watch as an actor. And there are other actors I can watch them do anything. I just think they're fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Kline, I could watch Kevin Kline read a fucking phone book. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
But Richard, what's his name? Richard.
I'm not sure. I know what you mean, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the guy in the bathtub with the mustache.
No, it's like
he slits his wrist.
Yeah,
in the tub.
What, in your apartment?
Yeah. What?
Richard Thomas.
Richard Thomas, yes.
Yeah.
The guy in the bathtub with a mustache.
Annabelle, you're thinking of
in the bathtub singing the blues.
He's the main guy in it, the main kid who outruns Pennywise on the bike.
He's the guy that's telling the story, really.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Isn't he like the narrator?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which fits with that irritating voice that he should be the narrator.
Yeah.
But I'm sure. I hope. I want to see it, and it couldn't be any worse than Tim Curry. Of course, was great, and he was Tim Curry, and he can do no wrong. But the rest of it. And the fucking effects at the end were just terrible. It was like the high school theater department made the fucking spider, you know. And it was just, oh boy. I don't know. I can't believe the producers let that happen. Okay, I spent enough time trashing that.
Yeah. But I wonder what they're going to do the ending of this one, because at first when I saw the clown for this, and I think a lot of people felt this way, it was a comparison, because how could you not compare it to Tim Curry? Like you said, Tim Curry, even if you think he totally sucks, he's just,
I think the best thing to do at the ending is really not to show what Pennywise is. Because in the book, he's like, what's most scary to you? And that's going to be something different for everybody. Not everyone's going to be scared by a giant spider. So I think it's best, if possible, not to actually show what exactly he is once he's, you know...
Oh, yeah, everybody sees something different, right? In the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's their worst nightmare.
Why not just have it, when they're all together, just show, like, if you're through this person's eyes, just show what they're scared.
Oh yeah, you could have a variety of how many are there? 5, 6 kids?
Yeah, just never represent it as one thing to everybody.
Yeah, you could just do a quick, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm dying to see it now that you got me talking about it. Now I want to see it like tomorrow.
Yeah.
To see how they pull it off. But the other thing about the, I've seen the picture of the new clown character. It's a thing that's frightening. Have you ever seen? Oh shit! I think it's called The Last Laugh with Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
Where he plays a circus clown. It's a silent movie. Plays a circus clown, and he's just a circus clown, and he's in love with the circus owner's daughter, and the circus owner sells his daughter to some fucking sleazebag. And so the clown just goes insane and kills him and starts just killing everybody, you know. And the scary part is that the makeup is exactly the same. He's a happy clown. But once he goes insane with the same makeup on, or if there was an adjustment to the makeup, it was very subtle. You know, it was the acting behind the clown makeup that made him fucking terrifying. An insane clown. You know, you don't have to make the clown makeup scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's the insane fucking murdering motherfucker behind the clown makeup that's frightening. Mm-hmm. And the thing about clown makeup is it exaggerates, you know, your facial expressions. Huge smile, huge frown, whatever. So if you're a smiley clown, and you know, you have just this regular clown makeup on, if you go insane, you're going to be really fucking, I mean, it's really disturbing, you know what I mean? So the makeup doesn't have to be scary.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to play an evil clown at some point in your career? Would you like
I tried. I did a production of The Killer by Eugene Ionesco. I played a killer in The Killer at the Goodman Theater in Chicago. And The Killer, I don't know if you know anything about it, if you know Ionesco at all, but it's theater of the absurd kind of. Mm-hmm. He's a French playwright. And The Killer doesn't say anything. And he just, in the play, he just appears out of the shadows, and he's got a switchblade, and he just laughs. I had like 28 laugh cues, which I tried to make all of them different. As Béranger is talking to him about why do you do what you do and all this stuff. And I just respond with laughter, you know. And then so Joe Slowick, who just passed away, one of my mentors, a wonderful man, who was the director, that said, we're going to put you on wheels. You're not going to have any legs. I'm going to put you on, you know, wheels. So I thought, okay, that's cool. You know, so I kind of dug that. It was kind of, you know, like a furniture dolly, like a four-wheel dolly, you know, and move myself around with my hands, with my knuckles. And I was trying to get a handle on this because I had no lines to indicate, you know, what I was all about. What I had was 28 laugh cues. And I said, Joe, I got an idea. This is in 1973, the year I did Chainsaw, as a matter of fact. It was the winter before I did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I said, how about I do this in clown makeup? And he goes, what? And I said, let me do it in clown makeup. I said, there's nothing, because I had just seen, the year before, I had been to a film festival and I had seen that film with Lon Chaney. I said, there's nothing scarier than an insane clown. He goes, no, I don't like that idea. No, I don't like that idea. So I didn't get to do it. And I think it would have been very effective. But as it was, I was still quite effective. You know, I got that. When I knew I was going to audition for this play, then I Love Just Like, and he just passed away. And there's actually a memorial service for him next month in Chicago. If I could get up there, I'd go. But he was an incredible man of the theater and director and a close friend. But what the fuck was I saying? Oh, so I knew I was up to read for this play. And the role there was, and I had, like 2 days before the audition, I had to blow my nose. And I thought, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to blow my nose. I didn't blow my nose for 2 days. I let this booger in my left nostril just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So I go into the audition room, and I'm auditioning with another actor who's auditioning for Béranger. I guess I should have warned him, you know. But he asked me a question like, "Oh, what do you have to say about that?" And I stuck my finger up in my left nostril, and I pulled out this fucking booger with about 6 inches of snot attached to the back of it. Man, I just remembered this. Oh my God. And I flipped it on the floor at his feet. And the fucking poor guy didn't know what to say or do. But I'd answered his question. He said, so why do you blah about life? You know, it's all about what do you think about life or something. I just like, yeah, I mean, it took a good 90 seconds for me to pull the whole thing out from the sinus up behind my eyeball, you know. Oh. Anyway, I got the part.
What is it with you and snot? This is 2 snot stories. And
just imagine if you could use your tongue for
I
that.
don't know. Isn't that funny? So, I'm going to use that again someday, too. I just did, in the fall, I just did Rock, Paper, Dead, which is Victor Brooke Miller's new film, directed by Tom Holland, written by Victor Brooke Miller and Carrie Fleming. And I play a horrible pedophile who is the father of the main character in this thing, who's a psycho serial killer and a really creepy guy. And I hope to be playing the role again. They're already working on a sequel, I think. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this, so forget it. Never mind. I just realized. But I thought about that. I was thinking the booger thing, I could work in there somewhere. Now that we just talked about it, maybe I'll use the old booger trick in the sequel to this.
We actually have a caller here on the line. Our phones have not worked for like the last month, but they worked. Tonight is the first. Yeah, it's the first time they've worked for a while. 903 area code. Who are you?
This is Brian from Texas.
Oh man, it's Brian Stewart.
Hey Brian.
Hey dude, what's up?
How you doing? Where in Texas are you?
John, it's Brian Stewart. How are you, buddy?
Okay.
Really?
Do I know you?
Oh, that's not okay. Yeah, I think you know.
Brian.
Yeah, Stewart.
Where in Texas? Where?
Northeast Texas. Neil, is he really doing this?
No, Brian Stewart. Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear that. You're cutting it out. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. Oh my God, I thought I was going to have to hang up on you.
I haven't seen you in forever. How come we never see each other anymore? Fine. I think I see you're doing quite well.
I'm staying pretty busy. Yeah, I guess we're just doing different conventions lately. So
Are you doing that Comic-Con in Louisiana? I heard me talking about what?
I got on just in time to hear you talking about boogers, so I knew this was obviously the conversation I should probably...
That's been the entire show so far.
I was like, well, Jesus Christ, this is Johnny. He's doing it again.
This is Booger Month on Without Your Head.
How's Vicky and the boys doing? Everybody all right?
Doing great, man. Everybody's doing really well. How's
the back deck? How's the back deck and all the animals and everything?
Oh, everything's great. All the animals are still alive. I feed them. I water them. They haven't eaten me in my sleep. Everything's great. It's like a little, farm.
What kind of animals can eat you in sleep?
Well, animals eat you in your sleep. I mean, you watch horror movies, that's the best time for it to happen. All the shadows and the darkness and shit.
If it's going to happen, it'll be better when you're sleeping.
Yeah. So,
it'd be awesome if I found out you're raising monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, what conventions have you got coming up? Where are we going to see you? Or has this already been covered today?
Well, this Saturday.
I'll be in. I'll be in Syracuse, New York this weekend for a film festival, and then I'll be in. I'm doing a film in Indiana, hopefully, in about the third week in May. Then I'll be in Canada, Calgary. Is it Calgary or Edmonton or something?
Okay. So you've got quite a few lined up, don't you?
I got a few. I'd like to fill in some of the gaps, but and I got nothing in. I'll be at Days of the Dead, Indianapolis. Bobby Easley and his film company are bringing me in. So I'm sponsored in there, and but I got nothing in August, and I think I got one thing in September, and then I'll be the end of, and then I got a bunch of shit, in October, and the last thing being Birmingham, England on Halloween weekend. There's this walking mall. Yeah, I think they used we used it's a decommissioned army base there that they use for locations and stuff. And Louisiana, the new governor just kind of fucked everything up. But they had huge tax incentives for the film industry there. And it was putting a lot of people to work.
For a while, it was really booming. Yeah.
They just cut that out after the 2016 election. So.
I saw that.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want your people making. You don't want your people making money, for crying out loud. You like to keep people nice and poor.
Sure.
But
it's the same.
But there's like a huge walking outdoor mall kind of neat thing down on the river there, where it's shops. There's like 2 or 3 streets, and there's a tram that goes around, and there's all these restaurants and bars and shops and all sorts of neat stuff. And
casinos there too. There's some riverboat
and there's
casinos.
I'll never set foot in one because I worked in one for 5 years. But I remember the first Christmas that I worked there, first holiday season. One of my waitresses came back into I would happen to be standing in the bar area there, and she came back and she was visibly shook up. And I said, "Well, are you okay?" She goes, "Oh, this woman in my slot area playing slot machines is sitting there crying." And I asked her if she was all right, if I could get her anything. She said, "The kids aren't getting Christmas." She had just lost all the money for her children's Christmas presents in a fucking slot machine,
Oh, no.
So they're very, they don't build those things on winners, man.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, I mean, she should have brought her kids with her, and they could have seen the Christmas present X's pop up. That would have been great.
Yeah. Yeah. But, that's a depressing story. Okay.
Yeah. That's,
and there's a hummingbird just came to my hummingbird feeder.
Oh,
hummingbird, don't fly away, fly away.
I'm really glad I called in. I'm getting boogers and sad children. This is great, John.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I'm Irish. I can't help it.
Yeah,
hey, Brian, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, man. Good to see you vocally, everybody. Talk to you later.
Say hi to Vicky and the boys, please.
I will do it. And hey, I'm gonna be a shameless whore. You ready for this? Everybody can visit me at brianstewart.com. See, I did it. See you later.
Wow.
See you, Brian.
Okay, you're a .com now. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bye.
We did have another caller, but they left. But we have a question actually from Linnea Quigley. What was it like wearing that mask? Was it glued on or just put over your head?
It's Linnea. How was it? It was really uncomfortable, but it was what it was it was put on in sections. It wasn't just a mask. There was like the forehead piece, the nose and upper lip piece, the cheek piece, the jowl piece, that sort of thing. And it was all applied and glued on with spirit gum. So it was very, very uncomfortable. And it was August in Texas. Mm-hmm. And we had no AC or anything like that. We had that house we shot in, we had to have the windows all closed and blacked out because we were shooting day for night or night for day or whatever. Oh, hear my cats? You all right, bud?
Cats.
That was my big giant Russian blue attacking my little tuxedo guy. It's okay, buddy. This goes on every day. These are my outdoor cats, and I have 2 indoor cats. What was I saying?
The 2 different kinds of cats.
What's that?
Why do you have 2 different kinds of cats? Most people, it's one or the other. They have indoor, outdoor, or they just have home cats.
I don't know. I have 2 outdoor cats and 2 indoor cats. I don't know.
That's how it worked out.
The one, that's how it worked out. The 2 indoor cats have never been outside before, and we live way out in the country, and just, I don't know. And the ones that are outdoor kind of grew up outdoors. And one of them just wandered up on our porch when I was in California doing Rock, Paper, Dead last year. Mm-hmm. So he started doing, and he was just a teeny little kitty. And he adopted Stacy, essentially. Stacy was on the porch, and he just ran up, jumped in her arms kind of thing, So somebody had deserted him out here or something. Yeah, but to get back to Linnea's question, it was glued down. No, I couldn't take it off. So, the first time, and this might answer a couple of questions because I know people always ask this, but so the first time it took them 7 hours to apply it, and I worked for about maybe 10 hours. The second time, it only took them maybe 5 or 5.5 hours to put it on. But I worked for like 20 or more, or maybe 24. I don't know. I have no idea how long. Ed and Neil could tell you down to the second, how long we worked that day. And you know what, it gets longer every time he tells a story. Now it's up to 30 hours or something, I think. But it was roughly 24 hours, I'd say. And it's really uncomfortable to the point where you have to really resist the urge just to grab hold of it and rip it off your face,
I mean, it's your profession, but I can't imagine trying to concentrate feeling that way.
It's terrible. You kind of have to. I kind of had to get, and I'm not a Buddhist by any means, but I kind of had to get into a Zen, find my happy place and go away, between setups. I just sit down and stare off into space and try not to feel anything, because if I really thought about how uncomfortable it was, I would have gone insane. So I almost had to kind of meditate through it the last, 12 hours.
Yeah.
I had to tell myself, it will be over at some point. Mm-hmm. Kind of like talking yourself down from a bad acid trip. No. It only lasts about 8 or 10 hours. It'll be over.
When you say you have it on for 24 hours, like, what's going on for those 24 hours? Like, is a lot of it just sitting there?
Oh, yeah. The film business is a lot of sitting around.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole dinner party scene. Okay, here's the deal on that. This might take me a while to explain it. But the thing that there's so many. There was 1, 2, 3. The entire cast essentially. Marilyn and the entire family are in that scene, and there are wide shots. There's a master from one angle. There's a master from another angle, and there's like 3 or 4 wide shots that have everybody in it. Then you got 2 shots for everybody. Then you got close-ups for everybody. And each one requires a different setup and relight and all that sort of thing. And the way that Toby worked was nobody fucking does this, and nobody does this. Nobody. And I don't know why he did it, but we do the entire scene every fucking time. When it came to doing close-ups and 2 shots, we didn't just do the lines those people had in close-up or that sort of thing. You set up for somebody's close-up, and you would do the whole fucking scene again. So you're talking a whole lot. Maybe, 15 separate setups. I don't even know. I could sit down and do the math on it if I really thought about it.
Yeah.
But that's why it took 24 hours. And in retrospect, and this just dawned on me a few years ago. Gunnar and I were talking. I think it was probably may have been in Atlanta. Last time I saw you, Neil. Gunnar and I and Marilyn were there, and it was the last time I saw Marilyn. But he was talking about things that just got so bad, and everybody was so uncomfortable, and it had been going so long, and everybody was so tired that at one point you actually think to yourself, "Yeah, let's just kill her. Let's kill her and go home." Something snaps inside you. But so in retrospect, I think maybe Toby knew exactly what he was doing. He was wearing us out so bad, wearing us out so badly. He wanted that tension. He wanted everybody to be exhausted and pissed off and miserable. And if you go back and watch that scene again, it works. It works because the tension is palpable. I mean, you can feel it. You can reach your hand out and feel out the tension, in that room. We were all fucking miserable. We all just wanted to go home. You say, one more time. Let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. Okay, let's take 5, and we're going to reset for this and that, And I think, in the end, it came through on film, So, I don't know if that's what he was doing, but it kind of makes sense to me.
At the time, could you kind of support one another? Like, this sucks. I wish this would end, or were you all kind of like?
Oh yeah, no, we were all sort of we all hated him. Yeah, this sucks. And they're like, we're barely making any fucking money. Why are we doing this? This fucking sucks. But we were young actors and we were making a movie. It was exciting. It was physically for me miserable. And Marilyn, good God, what they put her through. What we put her through, I guess. But that Jim Cedar broke a broomstick over her back or her head or some shit, And then they just continued using the broomstick. Hey, yeah, now take the broken broomstick and poke her with it. Put her in a gunny sack and throw her, That rope and that rag that Jim stuffs in her mouth was just an old fucking piece of oily rag that they found laying on the floor in there, It wasn't from the prop department or anything.
Oh, gross.
That for me, that was a scene that really was one of the worst scenes because you're hoping that you can trust this guy. He's going to pull through for this poor girl, and then no, there's no escape. It's horrible.
Yeah, he comes back with that rope and that burlap bag, you know. Now. She realizes what's going on. Oh my God, he was wonderful. There's some terrific acting in that film.
Yeah,
there really is. Essentially unknown actors. Paul Partain is unbelievable. Ed Neal, everybody, Marilyn. It's just that the cast, you know, Terry, all of them.
How does it feel to be in one of the most iconic horror films? It is. It's one of the most iconic horror films ever made. Everybody knows
what
it
did you
is.
ask me? How does it feel? Did you ask me? You're cutting out a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really never thought about it like that. You know, we were just friends. You know, these are friends of mine that I've known for years now. You know, for 44 years, and you know, we got together and made a movie. You know, the fact that it became this iconic film, I'm still kind of blown away. You know, I walk into, you know, a big convention, and I arrive and walk in just to try to check into the hotel, and people start saying, "Grandpa, hey, Grandpa, John Dugan, Grandpa, hey, Dugan," you know. Hey, you know, I come up, shake her hand, I'll buy you a drink later, that sort of thing. It still blows me away, you know, that we've touched that many people. You know, I'm honored.
How's your view of the movie itself changed over time? Like when it first came out to, 10 years, 20 years later until now?
Well, I see it at least once a year, and probably more than that, but I see it at least once a year because I generally have to introduce it, you know, a personal appearance or something. And I have a copy of it, but I don't sit and watch it at home.
Right.
You know, really. Hey, let's watch me tonight. You know, I don't really do that. I just want to go over my scene again. No, fuck all those other people. Let's just watch my scene. Give me a drink, would you, honey? You know, I want to watch my scene over and over. I don't. That's a good idea. I should try that. But how's it changed?
Yeah.
Over the years, boy, I think the first thing to change in the way I look at it is I started seeing it as a comedy years ago. Because there is a whole lot of comedy in it. Some of it's obvious and some of it's very subtle. But and I've seen it so many times. I see Kim Henkel. I see his thumbprint, his fingerprints just all over it, in the humor in it, because he's a sick son of a bitch. He was married to my sister. Yeah. And he's got just a fucking bent sense of humor. I can hear him chuckling. You know, I'll watch the film and I'll see something that he's thrown in there that's funny that, you know, a lot of people won't even notice. And I can hear him, that chuckle that he has. I can hear him. I can see him with a legal pad in front of him and a pencil and writing something down and chuckling, you know. And for instance, here's a Kim Henkel-ism that's a major part of the film that is just fucking genius. He made the cripple guy really irritating. You know, before this, you always feel sorry for the cripple guy. No, he made him an asshole, which Kim thought was the funniest fucking thing ever. And it is, you know. And it makes you, as an audience member, that, God, you know, I shouldn't be feeling this way about this guy, poor guy in a wheelchair. But God, he's an asshole. You know, he wrote that part. And then they found Paul Partain to play it. I can't imagine anybody else being Franklin except Paul Partain. You know, just that everybody hated him. Paul Partain never broke character. He was heavily into the method at that point. Oh my God! Everybody hated his fucking guts. But I mean, had you ever seen a film before that where the crippled guy is the irritating asshole?
No,
they're always a sympathetic character.
He was groundbreaking.
You know, it's a brilliant twist, you know. And so I guess the first switch in the way I saw it was I started seeing it as a comedy. It actually, Stacy saw it as a comedy right away. The first time she saw it, she had never seen it till after we met.
Oh, wow.
And but the first time she saw it, she already knew the entire cast, the entire living cast. You know, she'd met them at conventions and stuff, but she had never seen the film. So the first time she saw it was I think it was at a theater here in Nashville that I was doing an intro to. So she saw it with an audience at the theater. And she saw it as a comedy right away because she knew everybody involved. She knew their little quirks and this and that, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I started looking at the, you know, technical aspects of it, the lighting, the camera work, which is all brilliant. And then I look at the individual acting, everybody, you know, start picking it apart. And it's hard to find anything wrong with it. It's a good film, not just a good horror film. It's a fucking good film. Mm-hmm. It's well done. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. You said everyone hated Paul at the time. Over the years,
yeah, and then they found out. They found out later he was a really nice guy.
All right.
I knew him. Now, Paul was the first guy I met. Mm-hmm. The first day I was on set. I was picked up at the airport in Austin because I came in from Chicago, and I was asked, "Do I want to go get some sleep?" And I was on the what do you call it, red eye or whatever. So it was like 6:30 in the morning. And I was asked if I wanted to go to where I was staying and get some sleep, or would I like to go out to the set. I said, take me out to the set. I'll hang out there. And so we get out there, and there, you know, the deserted, vacant house. Are you there?
Yeah.
Because my phone just made a tone. Like, let me see how much power I got. Oh, I got plenty of power. I don't know what the hell that was. The deserted house, which was their old grandparents' house or something they go fucking around in, because they can't get gasoline. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were shooting there, and Paul Partain is sitting in his wheelchair, and he's got behind his gigantic white Cadillac convertible with the huge fins and the red leather interior with the top down on it. He's got the trunk open. There's a gigantic cooler in the trunk, and he's got his wheelchair, and he's got like a little conversation nook of folding lawn chairs, kind of in a semicircle around him, and nobody's sitting in him. He's sitting there all alone, drinking a 16-ounce bottle of Coke, you know. And he just hopped on me. Come on over here, partner. Who are you? I said, I'm Sean Dugan. I play Grandpa. I just got in from Chicago. Well, sit on down. Sit down here with me. He's sitting there all by himself. And he goes, grab yourself something out of the cooler. So I went over. There was 16-ounce glass bottles of Coca-Cola, and there was cans of Budweiser. So I grabbed a beer, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, which I've been known to do now and then. Then sat down, we started talking. So I immediately fell in love with him. But nobody else knew that he was a nice guy until after filming. Uh-huh. But, he started telling me about what, he was up to and everything. And then I got to see him work, and they started rolling on it. Oh, God love him. And he died far too young.
How old was he? Ish.
What?
How old
I'm sorry?
was he when he passed? About how old was he?
He was probably, I was 20. I was 20. He was probably maybe 28. Wow. Pushing 30. So he'd be in his 70s now if he were alive. Mm-hmm. But, it's just so funny. Oh, and that's the whole thing between, Marilyn, really, God. When she's got when they decided to go off through the fucking mesquite to find, Kirk or whatever.
Uh-huh. Oh, when he's young and out.
And she's actually pushing him through the fucking mesquite, through the fucking, there was nothing laid down for her to roll that wheelchair over. She was trying to push him through the fucking woods, So when he's saying, Sally, bear down and push, bear down. He's really telling her, come on, let's get going here. And she's like, I'm trying to, Franklin. I mean, that was also, all that shit was real. He's just so fucking funny. What a fucking genius, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. No. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Sally, they took the keys. They're fighting over the flashlight and all that shit. That stuff just cracks me up to no fucking end. I could watch it over and over again.
His voice really is.
What?
His voice really is just wonderful.
And that wasn't his natural voice either. I mean, he was down a couple of registers from that irritating whine that he had and everything.
Yeah.
Man, do you see the way that guy cut himself? How could you do that? So I just am a huge fan of his. I saw about 10 years ago in Grapevine, Texas. I guess it must have been the Texas Frightmare, the last and probably the last time I'll ever be there, but the last time I was there. And somebody had come up with a 35 millimeter print of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it wasn't really connected to. It wasn't part of the Texas Frightmare,
right?
But they were showing it that weekend, in conjunction with it. But it was like somebody else, and they'd rented out a theater, and we were all supposed to go introduce the thing and all that stuff. And I went there, and the thing was sold out. And it was a full size. It wasn't one of these multiplex little bitty theater things. It was a full size theater, big screen. And I was the only one of the cast members that showed up to the fucking thing to introduce it, because Ed Neal had kidnapped everybody else and took him to a fucking titty bar in Dallas. Ted and his wife, or Ed and his wife. Did I say Ted Neal? Ed Neal. Ed and his wife have this thing for. They've been to titty bars in every city we've ever appeared in, I think. Like, what are we doing? Let's go to the titty bar. And not just Ed, Teresa too. They're like, we're going to a titty bar tonight. Ed doesn't even drink. He hasn't drunk. He hasn't had a drink since 1971 or something.
I really like.
Since shortly after he got back from NAM. They just go stuff dollars. I don't know. The family that stuffs together, whatever. But so I was the only one that showed up to this thing, and so I had to get up on stage by myself and talk to this packed auditorium for a while, and then when I sat down, they found a seat for me, and I sat down and watched it with an audience for the first time in fucking 30 years, and it was quite the experience. And the print. Am I rambling? Am I boring you? Am I doing all right?
No.
Okay. The print that they found, it was all kind of patched together, like spliced together from different partial prints.
Right.
So the entire intro, the John Larroquette voiceover and the scroll wasn't there, and it just started with them in the van on the road.
Wow.
How that whole, this is a story of, 5 youths who blah, 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 or 6 youths or whatever it is. That was all gone and everything. And then part of it, there was one reel of it, one short area of it was in Spanish. It had Spanish subtitles under it. They got from Mexico. But it was really torn up old print, but I kind of added to it. It was pretty neat. Mm-hmm. But when they pull the van over, and they open the van door up, and Paul Partain wheels his wheelchair into the shot before he rolls down the ramp and subsequently down the hill. Shoved the crippled guy down the hill right at the first fucking 5 minutes of the fucking movie. I'm sorry that cracks me up. Oh, that's so funny. But when he wheels into the shot, and it's a full screen of him in that doorway in that wheelchair, he got an ovation.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know, yeah, it was fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Let's roll the criminal guy down the hill. Kim Henkel.
Because we've seen it a couple times in 35 millimeter on the big screen, and one was an older print, which was not like clear and kind of messed up, and then we saw it restored, and I much preferred the one that's kind of messed up because it really adds to the movie.
Yeah,
and the restored one.
I think the best way to see it now, if you can, the best way to see it now, the way it looked originally in the movie theaters, was if you can get an old VHS tape, you know, like an early copy VHS, and watch it on a VCR is the closest you're going to get to the original experience of what the film looked like, because it's been remastered and cleaned up and all this shit. The new one, what is it, 4G or 4K or whatever the hell it is. It's beautiful, but they've kind of missed the point. It's too clean. Mm-hmm. We shot that on 16 millimeter and blew it up to 35, you know. Mm-hmm. That's why it's all grainy. That's why it looks like that.
Yeah. Huh? Things that used to be in the dark are now brighter. It's things that were meant to be obscured are no longer obscured.
Yeah. No, you can see too much. But except for the sound, because a lot of the original prints that you see in movie theaters, you know, back when it was originally run in movie theaters back in the 70s and everything, some of the sound was bad on those, and you couldn't hear what people were saying. So the sound on the new one is great. You can understand, it's crystal clear and everything's good. But I like the look of the way it was before.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Erica Kaufman from Atomic Cotton wants, hey, John, tell us about your birthday party with Tony Todd.
Okay, Erica. My birthday party 2 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. Or 3?
I'm not sure.
I think it was the year after the Atlanta show that you were at. I think it was the following year.
Okay.
But, I was down there, and Stacy was handling Tony Todd, so we were both working the show. And Tony's thing, he always wants to go to the Claremont when I don't know if you're familiar with the Claremont in Atlanta, but it's the old Claremont Hotel downstairs, and it's a titty bar. But they have really unusual lineup of strippers there. There's one that's like 70 years old. One's an amputee.
I think it was across from the hotel we stayed at.
Yeah, people
is there like a really tiny liquor store on the corner?
I have no idea. I don't know. I rode with somebody and we just pulled around back and went in. There could be, very well, could be. But and it's been there forever. And
so is she.
They just have an unusual. They have an unusual array of strippers in there. And so anyway, I beg your pardon?
Did they have Bridget the Midget?
The midget was not there, and the amputee was not there when the night of my birthday. Or if they were, they did not perform while I was there. Uh-huh. But
you have to make that real.
Tony got me this a lap dance with this really attractive African American stripper who was probably in her almost my age. Probably, she's probably in her middle 50s, I guess. So she's like 10 years younger than me. But with these enormous natural breasts, and just sat back and watched me. And Stacy was there with me. It was really uncomfortable. And he really dug it. So I was like, fine, okay. was more for his entertainment than mine. I don't know if you know Tony very well.
Do you think he was entertained because do you think he was entertained because you were uncomfortable?
Yeah, so no, I think he was entertained by my reaction. Yes, absolutely. I think he did it on purpose. I think he did that knowing that I would be uncomfortable. No, I think it was absolutely on purpose. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. But I kind of would have rather had the amputee, but she wasn't there. No, actually, the woman who danced for me was, and on me was absolutely lovely.
Not the first time I was in LA. I was in LA when I was young, but the first time I went to LA for a convention, there was some kind of strip club out there, which we didn't go to, but Lawrence really wanted to go to, where apparently the strippers are dressed as clowns. Somewhere in LA.
Wow. Whoa. What's the name of it?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Lawrence.
John makes a list.
I'm going to ask this question because I find it very humorous. Joseph Rubis wants to know, is it true that they actually killed a bunch of people while filming the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, there were several people killed months before because we needed their bones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they had to be killed, and then the flesh had to be stripped off their bones and everything for filming later. Yeah, we showed no mercy.
Did they get skeletons from India? Because I heard that they used to pump out.
Yes, well, actually, human bones from India were cheaper than like fake plastic bones.
Yeah.
And it's in the United States illegal to sell human bones or something. So yeah, we had them shipped in from India. So we had there were some plastic bones. And I think that there were some artificial bones that Robert Burns made in his shop, but a good deal of the bones were real human bones. And
did you guys know that at the time?
Yes, I did know that at the time. It was talked about. I was like, these look really real. Oh yeah, they are. Ah! And all those bones in the front room. Most of them, and a lot of them were animal bones. There were, human bones, and I don't know where they got all the fucking human teeth.
Probably from India too.
I don't know. The teeth, a couple of them have fillings in them and stuff. It was really creepy, and there are a lot of animal bones. Bob Burns and Mary, his wife or his lover, live-in girlfriend. She was she did everything. I don't know. She was a script girl. I guess she was a second aide. She might have been the assistant director. Who knows? She did everything anyway. No, she wasn't the AD. She was. Anyhow, Robert Burns, the production designer, and Mary, they got a free day. They went driving around in the country, in Texas looking for roadkill. Mm-hmm. Toss it in the trunk, or like a dead, dead animals in fields and stuff like that. They toss it in the trunk and then go back to the shop and like boil it down and strip the bones out of it, shit, cut its head off and stuff. They do. He was a piece of work, man. Huh?
That's serious.
That was our idea of a good time. Oh yeah, he loved that shit. And check him out. As a matter of fact, I just looked up him. I just looked him up on IMDb today.
Is it the same Bob Burns who used to have? He had a segment on. I don't know if you remember on Sci-Fi. It was on Sci-Fi Channel. It was a sci-fi show. It's like From Bob Burns' Basement.
No, that's a different Bob Burns, actually. But he's also in the horror business. He's like a makeup guy or something, isn't he?
Okay. Yeah.
No, it's a different different one.
Mm-hmm.
But look up Robert Burns on IMDb. You can pull it up right now and look at all the shit that he did after Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, he Howling, Reanimator.
He did a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he reused a lot of props. So there are things from Texas Chainsaw Massacre that are in other films. You know, Grandma. Did you see the Howling, the original Howling?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we just had Dee Wallace on the show. Mm-hmm.
What's that?
We just had Dee Wallace on last week from the Howling.
Oh, I love Dee Wallace. Isn't she a rocking good time?
Yeah, she was very nice, super nice, very fun.
What a fucking babe. Her mouth like a sailor too. I just love her. But
she's very well behaved on our show.
Yeah.
Oh, she was.
She was very well behaved.
Oh, I'm impressed. I wonder what that took for her to behave. That's not a Dee Wallace I know. But do you remember the scene where the guy is like in Hollywood? He's on Hollywood Boulevard and he goes into an occult store to buy silver bullets.
Mm-hmm. Yes. With Dick.
When he walks into that store, and the reverse shot of him walking in the door shot from inside the store, Grandma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my mummified wife, is sitting in her chair behind the door.
Really?
And he was, and because Robert was the art director or FX director or something on that film, so he did a bunch of stuff. He was the art director or the production designer or something on Reanimator.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but a bunch of stuff. He did loads of stuff.
Yeah. Hills Have Eyes. That wasn't too long after Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, he did Hills Have Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bunch of some things I'd never even heard of when I looked it up. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Like Tourist Trap, I think that's one of them. Oh,
yeah,
it sounds interesting.
Yeah, we saw the Grandma because it's still like preserved. It was at Texas Frightmare a couple years ago.
I haven't seen her. I'd like to see her.
She looks about the same. She's aged. I don't know if you call that aged well.
I don't know. I don't know if I call it that. She was in the basement of the Travis County Jail for a while.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with her. She turned up she was like in a storage locker or something, and they thought, I think they x-rayed her to find out if there was actually human bones inside of her or something. I don't know there's an urban legend about it.
Uh-huh.
They found out that the frame of her was actually made out of human bones or something. So the Travis County, they didn't know what to do with her, so they just had her like stashed in like the evidence room in the basement.
Apparently, someone traveling with her on a plane, they decided to do a luggage check. So they had like this body that they had to figure out what to do with it. It sounded like a really uncomfortable time for whoever was there. Neil, you remember that?
I think that was actually Nibbins, wasn't it, from Part 2?
Yeah, it was the guy from Part 2, yeah. It was Ed Neal's character,
mm-hmm.
Who was just a dead person in Part 2.
Right.
Yeah, Jason Guy owns that. Yeah, he was traveling with it last year. He went to a couple of shows with it. He booked a couple of shows with it. And had to take it through airport security.
Yeah, and they were detained at one of them.
I think he actually booked a seat for it because he didn't want to check it through, so it like sat next to him on the plane or something. That would be awesome. There was something weird about that one.
Was something? Do you like put a shroud over it? Sleep? Oh no. What's worse? Yeah. I'm not really sure if I walked by or had to sit next to a corpse, what way I would prefer to see it.
Good thing it wasn't United. They would have just dragged it off the plane.
Yeah. Jesus. Can you believe that shit?
I know.
That was
What's this country? Is out of control?
I think I might have booked us on United actually to Texas here next month.
Really?
Yeah. Should have waited. I'm probably going to get a lot cheaper.
Off.
What was that?
I said, can we just yell at them? You suck. Once we
Yeah, be a real asshole and see how good they are at like controlling their tempers and shit.
Yeah.
Just start berating them as soon as you get on the plane. You malodorous heap of parrot droppings, you con really makes me puke my guts out. And just watch them try to be nice to you. God, that'd be fun.
What was it?
I was in.
Go on.
What was a story? I just told a story, or this is kind of unrelated, but kind of related. I was in Denver, Colorado, hustling a screenplay. Back in 80-something, 82 maybe. It was the day I was trying to get from Denver, trying to sell the screenplay. So I was out there for a couple of days. And then get a call early in the morning saying, you got to go to the airport right now. I was like, what? He goes, the guy goes, Reagan just fired all the air traffic controllers. I was like, oh, fuck. He says, I've changed your flight to try to get you out today. You got to go now. Like, oh, shit. So me and the guy I'm traveling with, my writing partner at the time, make it out to the airport, and it's a fucking zoo. You know, the whole country was a zoo. Reagan was like, oh, you want to race? Fuck you. I'll fire every fucking single one of you. Yeah, these Republicans are so sweet. They're so nice. Touchy-feely. So we were waiting to get on this plane to Chicago on TWA. Do you remember TWA, Trans World Airways? And it's overbooked. And they stop and say, okay, nobody else is getting on here. But we're going to give you and she goes, how many of you are you? Let's see. Okay, can you hold up your... okay. We're going to give you $100 cash, and we'll give you a voucher to go up to our front, like counter, turn in for cash, and we'll get you on the next flight to Chicago. The next available flight we can get you on. And she goes, hold up your hands. How many are you? She goes, 1, 2, blah, 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 11. Okay, we're going to give you $100. And I went, I knew what she meant, but I said, $100 split 11 ways? That's bullshit. And everybody started going, yeah. Screaming at the poor woman. It was so fucking funny. She goes, no, $100 a piece. Well, she shot me a look, boy, if looks could kill. But it was so fucking funny, I couldn't resist. So anyway, the guy I was traveling with, he and I went and got our $100 a piece up at the TWA, and there were 2 guys from Australia who were also going to Chicago, and they each had $100 cash a piece. So the 4 of us hit the bar and had a great time for about 3 hours on the airline's money. Australians are a rocking good time to drink with, man.
We got stranded in Chicago on the way to that show we talked about earlier. Was that, Annabelle?
What's that?
I was just saying one of the only Australians I know is Lloyd, and I'm sure he would be interesting to drink with. Feels familiar with Lloyd. Yeah, I don't think you've ever met Lloyd, John. He's this man who's totally obsessed with Lawrence Harvey and hats. Very strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Obsessed with Lawrence?
Yeah, he's been quasi stalking Lawrence since.
Oh my God! How fucking weird is that?
He's a strange man. He actually, I'm not really picking on him. I like Lloyd. I like him. He's got, he's a strange man, but he's like 6 foot something tall, and he was real thin, and he decided he would gain weight to be more like the character. So he has a belly now to be more like...
He eats a lot of mayonnaise.
Very strange, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But he's still like 4 feet taller than he...
Yes.
Maybe you should have his legs amputated below the knee or something. It could be more like him.
He could walk around like the dwarf.
That idea, because I would not be surprised if he would go for it.
Oh, I didn't mean to give him any bad ideas.
Oh no, he's very committed.
So
but that's the Australian that I know. Oh, and Susan Jones, she's very nice.
Yes, she's very nice. Can you tell us about Belly Timber, which will also be playing Saturday at the Salt City Horror Fest?
Okay, I know very little about that film, even though I'm in it.
All right, fair enough.
But because I did the wraparound, I play Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the wraparound. Yeah, I start the story and then I'm at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my grandkids
like
come home from school and it's kind of like a long time ago, right around here, sort of thing, and then fade to the story, and then I'm in the end. But it's the story's supposedly, probably like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, very loosely based on some historical fact or something.
Yeah.
It's like Chainsaw was inspired by, not really based on Ed Gein, but inspired by, the Ed Gein story. But there's very little Ed Gein in Chainsaw. But this was inspired by a story of some cannibals in the Midwest in the late 1700s or early 1800s. Irish immigrants, I think. And that's really about, because I haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so this will be your first time seeing it.
No, I will. Yeah, I won't. And I don't know if I'll be able to see it this weekend because I have other things I have to do there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'm going to be able to take an hour and a half out of my evening because it's showing right after Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my dog. Dropping Tootsies. This little bitty dog is just perfect little Tootsie Rolls. Oh, cute Tootsies. I had a 17-year-old Papillon.
Oh, really?
And he's got the most convenient poop if he has an accident in the house. You just like pick it up, wing it in the wastebasket. It's like,
That's very convenient.
They look like miniature Tootsie Rolls. They're just totally solid and don't even have to wipe the floor up or anything. Just pick it up and then wash your hands afterwards. What?
I considered putting them in wrappers, Tootsie Roll wrappers.
and give them away as treats at my table at conventions. Little wax paper, little twisty, fancy wax paper twisty things, a little ribbon around each end. God, Annabelle, that's wicked. Oh,
I like this idea.
I know I missed you for some reason.
That's awesome.
And I could do like a snot icing on it. little human snot glaze.
See, Derek Neal wants to know, what was the worst and the best convention experiences you've ever had?
The best is tough. I can tell you the worst.
Right
I can think of the worst.
But there was, and I don't even remember the name of it now, but it was in Birmingham, Alabama, about, I want to say 5 years ago or something. And my ex had thrown me out of the house for having an inappropriate relationship with somebody else. So my ex, so I was like living, I'd been living in this cheap motel in Clarksville, Indiana. And I was really broke, seriously broke. And I had this gig at this this thing in Birmingham, which I had to take a bus, 2 buses to, switch buses in Nashville, go to Birmingham, and it was a pop culture, sci-fi, horror, toy, and gaming convention. Very small one, but the emphasis on gaming, I think. So there's just all these gamers there, which I hope there are no gamers listening, but they don't spend a dime. They stay up all night and play games. Some of them, their hygiene is not very good. Anyway, it was horrifying. Although they did have a huge Lego area, a huge Lego City area where they just dumped out, where you could drop your kids off and they could just sit there while you went and I don't know, did whatever. But after entire weekend, and I was really broke, and I needed some money, and I had no place to live, and I needed to make enough money to get a room for a few days until I was scheduled to head out of town again. Then I'll do another loser show, and after 2 days, I only made $60.
Wow.
And I was just in a fucking panic. I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I had a bus ticket back to Louisville. What am I going to do? I called my old friend Randy, who I hadn't talked to in about 2 or 3 years. I didn't have his number. Shit. And so I called the tavern. I called 411 and found a number for the tavern that he and I used to hang out in Louisville. And I got a bartender that I knew. I said, it's okay if you can't tell me, but I need to get in touch with Randy Thurman, right away. And she was like, Sean, yeah, I'm sure it'd be okay. This is his number. And I called him, and he goes, I'll pick you up at the airport. We ended up living together for a couple of years. He had a spare room in his house, and everything worked out great. Oh, and after that, I went through that panic and got that handled, some guy bought $200 worth of stuff off of me. So I ended up with.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, but that was the only. So I made 60, and then some guy wanted everything I had, and so I ended up back in Louisville. All I had to my entire name was $260, but that was the worst. In a lot of ways, maybe the best. Now that I think about it, but that was the worst convention I've ever been at. The best is hard to say because there's a lot of best. There's the good times. There's the ones where the money is just great, and there's the ones where you just have such a great time because the people are so great. Mm-hmm. I'd have to say our first big reunion at Monster Mania about 8 years ago or so, where the entire cast of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the entire living cast, was there. Mm-hmm. It was just a rocking good time. We had so much fun. The first time all of us had been together since 1974. Mm. So, so we dined together at night, and we just bottles of wine and bottles of beer and food and stories, and we had so much fun. That it was truly a reunion. So that was probably the best convention I recall today.
Mike Terry wants to know, what were your thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre riff in Sharknado 4?
I didn't see Sharknado 4. I didn't even know there was a fucking Sharknado
4. You didn't see Sharknado 1.
Yeah, but I love that nipple shot in Sharknado 4.5. But I didn't realize that the thing that pisses me off about Sharknado is none of the producers have called me to play a fucking cameo on any of them.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the world has been in one of those movies except for me.
I'll be honest. I interviewed the guy who directed all 4 or 5 because the 5th one's coming out, and I brought up specifically the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing because he has like Dog the Bounty Hunter playing a guy, and he was just like, well, we didn't have time to call, and he mentioned because Dog the Bounty Hunter plays Bill Moseley's character in it, and he's like, oh, we didn't have time to call Bill, and he mentioned you, John, because he just has like some guy on set sits there and he's the grandpa. And I was just like, how long would it have taken to call them?
There's a grandpa character in the fucking thing?
Yeah.
What's his finger broken?
Yeah.
It's 7 fucking digits. What the fuck? Yeah, what a fucking moron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Mike Terry, that's your answer.
Yeah, I talked to Bill about it too off the show, so I don't want to say his answer, but it was similar to John's right here. I'll have to say that.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Kiss my fucking icon ass. My horror icon ass. You could sniff my sweaty horror icon and ass crack, whatever his name is. Oh, Jesus. That really irritates the fuck out of me.
Yeah, let's bring this up. Sorry to bring that up, but it was a good question.
I was just channeling Dee Wallace there.
Now I feel like we have to get her back and mention to her that it's okay to swear on the show.
We heard this thing from John.
I don't think I mentioned that because I usually mention that to the guests beforehand of like, you're free to say anything you want on the show, you can swear. And for some reason, I just thought she wasn't someone who swore, so I didn't bring that up. And maybe she just thought like you weren't allowed to on the show. So.
Oh man, she was sitting on it big time.
We did have one guest on the show, and I mentioned before, and like, oh, you can swear on the show, and they just seemed so shocked. They were like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's okay."
Yeah, it's not necessary to be honest.
And there's like this really weird horror movie, and I'm just like, I don't know why you're so shocked that you might be able to swear.
Yeah, it was like they were offended. It was really, really awkward. Wow.
Yeah, it made me laugh though.
Really cool. Really bad.
I think we might have Troy here.
What was that?
I think we might have Troy on the line. Possibly. Maybe. Troy.
Like suspense.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, say hi to John.
John. Are you
Malcolm
there?
X, John Lennon.
How are you, my friend?
Malcolm X, John Lennon, come on in and dig your mother. How you been, Daddy-O?
Everything is groovy. How about with you?
I'm groovy. I'm pretty groovy. I still look groovy. A little heavier, but still groovy. How's the...
How do you like being compared to Negan, by the way?
What?
How do you like being compared to Negan?
From The Walking Dead.
From Walking Dead.
The thing is, I'm probably 15 to 20 years older than he is. People, no. People say I favor. No. Somebody said, has anybody ever told you that you favor Henry Dean, whatever his fucking name is? Mm-hmm. Middle name Dean guy. Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah. Stanton?
I believe so.
The Negan guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just replied, let me make this very clear. I'm way older than he is. I've been around. I've been an actor long before he was, so I would say he favors me, frankly. But somebody took, I don't know if you've seen that picture that I use it as my
on Facebook.
My
display picture.
My
the profile picture.
My what you call it? My profile picture was me with my old Cubs cap on. When Cubs were going for the pennant and everything, and somebody took that picture and put it on
Jeffrey Dean
body or something.
Mm-hmm.
and did a really good job of it. Yeah. But it didn't have anything to do with the Walking Dead. It had to do with winning the pennant, because there's a baseball bat, with barbed wire, over my shoulder, and did some like Go Cubs thing with me in my Cubs cap and with that, the barbed wire baseball bat over my shoulder, which I thought was kind of neat. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I look anything like the guy, but I guess I should be honored since women think he's real hot. Yeah, he should be honored.
Or vice versa. You should be like, man, I love Grandpa. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we can tag that.
Yeah. I think he's a really. I'd seen him in all sorts of things before he became vegan, and I always thought he was kind of an appealing guy. He has a certain amount of charm, charisma about him.
Mm-hmm. I really like him in The Watchmen.
But was he in the? Was he in a movie called The Super or something?
I'm not sure.
Where he was like the superintendent of an apartment building, and he was really fucking creepy.
I'm not sure.
What was it? Something like that? The Super or the Landlord?
I've seen other things too. I always thought he's a good actor. I think he's the best part of The Walking Dead, honestly.
I haven't watched it all this season. I didn't watch after. I never saw what's his name, Glenn, get his fucking eyeball hit out. I never saw who. I just read about it.
Yeah.
Never saw who he decided to kill and all that stuff. That whole thing is just irritating to me. The whole Walking Dead thing. It's it's just a nighttime soap opera that has zombies in it, and what's really irritating to me, and this is going to piss people off, I would say anyway, is they fucking really almost that TV show has almost single-handedly ruined the convention business. They come in and suck all the money out of a con, and you sit there all weekend and walk away with a few $100s because everybody's waiting in line to spend $80 on some guy's fucking waiting in line all day to spend, $80, $150, whatever on, photo ops with all these fucking people. And I just can't wait till they go away, till the show's off the air and everybody forgets about it. Seriously, I hate them.
I saw because they do the Walker Stalker conventions, and
stick to your own. You have your own convention. Just stay there.
Yeah,
just stay at your fucking Walker Stalker thing. Everybody can go get their fill of you there. Do your tour of Walker Stalker shit, and leave us alone.
The VIP passes to those, I have it right here, is $1,400 a person. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, good God. You know how much shit they could buy from me for $1,400? I don't even have enough shit to sell. I don't even have $1,400 worth of shit to sell.
And what I think's funny is with that. Go on, sorry. Let's say with that $1,400, you get your choice of 4 photo ops, no group or duo photos. Like, don't you think you'd just be able to get your picture with everyone for $1,400?
I would think so. It'd be only a 4 out of 20 or something.
Yeah, your choice of 4, and no group photos. You can't double up on anybody.
Oh no, I can't bring your dying mother up with you. But she's dying of throat cancer. I don't care. Rules are rules.
It'll be another $1,400.
This guy.
But they have really the entire Walking Dead phenomena has really had a huge impact on the HorrorCon business, and it hasn't been. I'm sure it's been good for the promoters, but it's been terrible for everybody else, for the vendors, for the artists, and for the celebrity guests. It's really hurt us badly. So I have nothing good to say about the show, and and I have friends who were in the first couple seasons, walkers and stuff like that, and I like them a lot. But You know, a few years ago, it was the extras, the walkers. You know, it was such a phenomenon. The walkers were taking up valuable table space. These people walk through a fucking scene. Mm-hmm. You know, they get some photo printed up and sit there and sign autographs for people. It's like, you know, that table could be used by, that's valuable table space there. It could be used by somebody a little more, you know, yeah. I don't want to whine any more about it. Mm. An actor or an artist or, you know, somebody.
Yeah.
I have a question or two. It's not about Walking Dead, but I've noticed over the last few years that wrestlers are really all over all the horror conventions. And I'm a wrestling fan. Who gives a rap? So I always
I know you're a wrestling fan.
I mean, like, I've been to wrestling conventions, and I've never seen, like, a horror actor at one. I think it would be totally out of place. And they'd be like, why is this guy here, you know?
Any washed up old heavy metal musicians at the wrestling convention?
No, it's always just wrestlers. That's why it's just very...
Yeah, so it doesn't... So the bus doesn't go both directions, eh?
No, it doesn't.
I think we should complain to those wrestling conventions. They're not it's not equal, you know. I'll tell you what, some of these old wrestlers that I've sat next. Huh?
I was going to say, you're not talking about musicians who need their own private rooms on the second floor, do you?
On the second floor of... I'm missing something. I'm missing something.
No, there's one person in particular I can think of that needs their own special room, separated, segregated from everybody.
There's a couple of those, aren't there? It wouldn't be Ace Frehley, would it?
Or perhaps, or maybe someone else from that band. You know, his name might be Peter.
Well, what were you saying about sitting next to some of the wrestlers?
Oh, I had a rocking good time with some of these old wrestlers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. You know, interesting. Because some of them are just sweet guys, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of sometimes kind of pathetic because nobody comes up and talks to them. Mm-hmm. Even, you know, they'll come up and say hi, don't buy anything, you know. But,
yeah, it's not, because like I said, I like wrestling. I guess I just find it very out of place. It's very odd.
Pensacola, Florida, last year, there were a couple of them. I can't remember the name of this guy. Big fucking wacky blonde-headed guy who was staying 3 doors down from us on our floor, and I kept running into him on my way to the elevator, and he was so much fun. You get on the elevator with him in a packed elevator, he just starts saying all sorts of inappropriate shit and everything. He was kind of drunk the whole weekend. He was so much fun. Uh-huh. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, being blonde doesn't narrow it down.
The guy with
what?
Neil, do you know the guy with the teeth? The vampire one?
Oh, yeah, that's Gangrel.
These guys, I think it might have been I think there was 2 of them, and they might have been like tag team partners or something. And they were like the Butthole Brothers or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
His wrestler.
The good old Butthole Brothers.
No, that wasn't the Butthole Brothers, but something like that. Asshole Brothers stuff.
So anyway, Salt City Horror Fest Saturday in Syracuse. You can see John and a lot of other people. It's a pretty it's too bad we can't go because it's a bunch of awesome movies and a lot of cool people from those movies are going to be there.
It's me and David Naughton's going to be there.
Yeah,
my old friend Dave. From American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
will be there, and they're screening that as well that weekend. And that whole gang from Belly Timber is going to be there, and there's a bunch of people I don't remember. But
yeah, Buddy Cooper from The Mutilator. We've had him on the show. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a cult slasher film from the 80s. Which I actually have a story about, because when we had Buddy Cooper on the show, it's like 2006, And he sent me a copy of The Mutilator to watch before the interview. And so I watched it, and we did the interview. And then, like, a couple weeks later, he called me up, and he's like, hey, can you send me back that copy?
You're going to send that back to me?
Yeah. He's like, that's the only copy.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I need that back, man. Huh? So that's a classic.
Yeah, so if I didn't send it back to him, I guess it never would have came out eventually on Blu-ray. It's
the only copy in the world. Neil Jones has it in Sandwich, Massachusetts. Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to need that back. Huh?
David Knott was really funny. We went to a convention in Rhode Island recently, and they had a slasher panel. So it was like Kane Hodder, Ari Mihailov, and they also had David Naughton on there, which he wasn't like, he was totally out of place. And so he was just there like looking at the guys when they were like, the crowd would ask him, favorite kill, and they'd be talking about smashing people's head against a tree and stuff. And he just kind of looked at him like, well, I don't know why I'm here.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He tried
next time
playing along for a little while.
He's a really super nice guy. I sat next to him an entire weekend. Well, more than once I have, but just last year in Knoxville, Tennessee. We had a great time.
Yeah. It's very cool. Did you say something, Annabelle? Sorry.
Yeah, just that he was trying to play along for a little while on the stage. Like they were talking about, what's your favorite kill? And he was just, he tried. He really tried.
Like
and then
that one guy I killed.
Yeah, he ended up going into this silent stare, and the other guys just took over. It was terrible. I felt so. But he tried. He did try.
Yeah. It made me
he kind of really wasn't a slasher guy.
No, that's a totally different kind of movie.
How is that show in Rhode Island?
We had a lot of fun. That was the first one I've been to in about 2 years, first horror convention.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was and it's also convenient for us to get to, so that helps a lot. But it was nice. It was a nice little convention. We didn't stay at that hotel. We stayed nearby. I was able to have my car, so it was really doable. And we saw a lot of people that we like and familiar. It was a really good time for us.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to do that a few years ago, and then it kind of conflicted with, not time-wise, but distance-wise, from another show I was scheduled to do, and I had to back out of it.
Hmm.
But I'd love to do that. I love Providence.
Yeah, it was a really nice area.
City. I haven't been there since the 70s, but I just like Rhode Island in general. I haven't been to that part of the country since 1970s.
Come up and visit.
Yeah, it was a great area. You could walk around at night and stuff was open and everyone was friendly.
Yeah,
it's a neat town. And Newport's, I remember going out to I had a girlfriend who was from Barrington, Rhode Island, and I went to meet her parents. The trip back to meet the parents. And I was in Boston for a while. She had friends in Medford in the theater program there, Tufts. We stayed there for a while, fucked around Boston, and then went to Providence and went out to Newport like on a Sunday, and it was like July, but it was like cold and raining, and and just it was just perfect. It was just my image of what Newport, Rhode Island should be like. We go down to the Fisherman's Wharf there or whatever. It went, and there was this cold kind of drizzle coming down, and it was all gray out. It was chilly. It was like July, and it was like 45 or 50 degrees and raining. And going to a place called the Black Pearl, and a little place on the dock, kind of. And you go in, and there was a fire in the fireplace. I had a pint of Guinness and a huge bowl of the best fucking clam chowder I've ever had in my life. And it was like, this is just so perfect. Sitting next to this, you're wet and cold. And shout out Irish for pint of Guinness and a big bowl of clam chowder.
New England is an appropriate name. It's wonderful here. It's the history and the food and exactly. You're hitting on why New England is great. There's beautiful port cities and
I don't know. It's just like nothing I've ever been around, being a Midwesterner and spending time on the West Coast and everything and down south. But I'd never really spent much time in the Northeast. And that to me was like the quintessential afternoon in New England,
Mm-hmm.
It was just neat.
Yeah, they actually just emailed me earlier today, oddly enough, because they have another convention coming up in, I think it's at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut in June. They're asking if we wanted to cover it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Who's got one in Foxwood?
It's
in
the
Connecticut?
It's the same company that did the Rhode Island, the Terracon, and I guess they do several other ones. And they've got a convention coming up at Foxwoods Casino in June.
Weekend is it? I have a date on.
Is it pop culture? Is it horror? Or is it?
I think it's a little. Yeah, I think it's pop culture. I think it's a comic con with two N's because it's in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did. Yeah, I did something a couple of years ago. So actually, the last place I saw Gunner before he died was this thing in Connecticut, and they did the same play on words, the two N's.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the same one.
I think.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what the name of it was.
Yeah.
But
it's the same parent company that does
he went
Terracon.
we left on Sunday, and he went to the doctor on Tuesday. Was diagnosed, and he died in the fall.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
No.
No, that's okay. I just had him. You mentioned it, and I'm like, I remember him.
He's always really nice to both Annabelle and I. And I know some people.
He was perfect.
Yeah, I know some people at the conventions. Some of the other people I knew that went to him would say that he wasn't necessarily like a nice guy, but he was always very nice to me and Annabelle.
Yeah, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was a nice guy if you were a nice guy.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it too. Yeah, and if
essentially, he didn't tolerate. He didn't suffer fools. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I want to get his book because he was telling some really, really interesting stories about himself, and I know he was living in Maine, an area I was familiar with, and just really interesting guy.
I loved his book.
Yeah.
I loved his book. I loved sitting down and he interviewed me in a hotel room in somewhere, Indianapolis maybe, for that book, and we sat down and talked. He was really a sweetheart of a guy.
He was. It was a convention that I went to by myself. So Annabelle or Troy, neither of them was with me, and since both Gunnar and I are from the Northeast, there was a big storm, and so both our planes were really delayed like 6 hours. And so Monday it was a bunch of people at first, so then after a while it's just me and Gunnar, and we were just sitting in the lobby, and he just started talking to me about things to look out for at conventions and all these things. And then since he hated the food at the hotel, he bought us takeout Chinese, and we ate Chinese in the lobby, and it was just a really good time. It's always a nice memory I have of him. It was just me and him, and he just kind of took me under his wing and told me stuff to look out for, and I thought it was a good time.
Yeah, I remember him saying, him coming back to our table, I think it was in Cleveland, and I hadn't been on the road all that long, just maybe a year or something. I think it was Cinema Wasteland like 10 years ago or something. And he came back to the table and he goes, "There's one thing I hate about conventions." I said, "What?" He says, "For some reason, in the bathrooms, people take huge shits and don't flush the toilet. Yeah, why can't you just take the time to to flush the fucking toilet? And then I started noticing that. You know, I was like, God, he's right.
God, what's wrong with people?
Pig. You know, it's like they're proud of it. They want everybody to see it. You know, so I'll just leave this dookie behind for everybody to see.
It's a business card on the top pole.
Well, there you go.
So, where's Troy at?
Troy, you still here with us?
Troy.
Where's Troy? He's nodded out.
I think he might have texted
Troy's
me.
nodded out on his microphone.
I think he might have texted me here.
Yeah, find that guy. I don't know if did I ever tell the story to John about the plot I came up with for when we're places and we don't want to get bothered by people on the street?
No.
So I think the first time I came up with this was in LA, because we've just got like schmuck written across our faces where anywhere we go, people are going to come up to us and try to get money or something like that. You know, try to be like a flag. Attention. So my plan was, Naneel always tells a story about you. Was it like the first time you met and that John was like saying how you never met?
Well,
that story.
Yeah, it's a story.
Oh yeah, I had you mixed up with somebody.
But it's a very funny story.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
But it was awesome because he gets so into that story. He can go on and on about it. So I'd like, if we were about to pass him, we'd be like, start telling the story. So we would be engaged in conversation, and this would be like our skit we would do as we walked by people. So we'd be like, oh, really? And he'd just keep talking, and we'd just walk by the people. That's the plan. So thank you.
Yeah. It does. It comes in very handy.
Yeah, I had you mixed up with somebody else, some kid with a camera.
I just like that I just let you tell the whole story until I said that wasn't me. That made. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And then that panel in Atlanta, you introduced me as Jim Dugan, which
well, it was at the end.
Kind of made up for the other thing.
It was so because everyone kept saying, "Oh, call him Hacksaw Jim Dugan." I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And then right when we did, I was like, oh my god. I know if no one,
well, I
people never
you being a wrestling guy and everything.
Yeah. I think if no one...
Somebody actually asked on your, like, any questions thing on Facebook, somebody actually had asked if I'm in relation to Jim Dugan on there.
Which was even worse because it's clearly not spelled the same. And so in text form, they shouldn't ask that because it's two different last names.
Actually, they're really the same. I think they originally were both with two G's. There are very few in Ireland, because I've looked in the phone book there when I'm there. Very few with one G.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things that the names just kind of evolve.
Did you ever meet him at a convention? Hacksaw Jim Dugan?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I have met him. Somebody introduced me to him. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even seem to notice what my name was. Like, he didn't even go, "Hey, Partain," you know. It's nothing. Nice to meet you. Oh, well, you didn't get the similarity, huh? Okay. Well, okay.
Maybe people have announced him as John Dugan.
Just he apparently wasn't impressed with me. He's nice guy. Isn't he the one that like carried a 2x4 around and shit?
Yes.
People,
and he would go,
people are into John, then they're just canceled from life. Something's wrong.
Yeah, and one eye looks a different direction on Hacksaw.
Yeah. I got one. I got a lazy eye too. I didn't really notice until I started getting my picture taken a lot. I was like, have I always had? Yeah. Have I always had one weird eye? Yep.
I've never
noticed that.
Well, I guess you're better off not having noticed it all that time. You probably would have been self-conscious. See?
Yeah, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I never noticed it, or it's become more evident as I've gotten older. Maybe it's gotten a little weirder. There's something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't know if it's anything. It's not. It's just something that I notice. And I really didn't start noticing it until a few years ago. Till I started doing conventions to get my thousands of pictures taken of me. Now I'm actually concerned. I never cared what my hair looked like before either. Now I'm like, well, okay, do I need to get my hair cut before I go on the road? I never gave a rat's ass about my hair before. It's just always been curly and does what it's supposed to do, or what it wants to do, not necessarily what it's supposed to do. But
the first time I met you, had like a buzz cut. I'm going
bald so fast. You ought to see me. I'm going bald so quickly. It's just, you can see, for the first time in my life, I can see my scalp through my hair.
Really? Is your hair going gray at all, or is it just still brown?
No, still brown. I'm gray around the edges, I got a little, what's his name? Like, Clark Kent's boss, thing going.
Yeah.
Perry White. I got a little Perry White accent happening. But no, it's my hairstyle. I'll tell you what, when I did Rock, Paper, Dead, the last scene I did, I play myself coming back from the dead, and there's this huge prosthetic I got to wear because my face is all rotten and everything. And it went up into my hairline because part of my brain was supposed to be coming out, And this guy pulled out like a handful of hair when he took my makeup off. It just like really yanked a bunch of hair out. And then after that, I got home and then all my hair started falling out. I think he shocked my scalp into thinking I was like 100 years old and it decided to fall out.
I think you've got a lawsuit.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's like an avalanche, He started it, and it just kept coming. Kept coming out.
Yeah. We could always start wearing cool hats, like someone does here on the show,
like you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I have to get a kilt too?
I haven't worn the kilt.
Actually, I bought and I love this thing. I bought a sarong.
I saw a picture of you with that.
That I just wear around the house. Yeah, I bought a sarong I wear around the house. And after I get out of the shower, in the evening, after dinner, I take a shower and I slap a sarong on, and that's great. And a lot of times in the morning or after, any time of day, sitting out on my porch with the breeze blowing up my sarong. It's sweet.
You can never do that convention where I am.
What?
It's not happening. Never.
What?
You do a sarong at home. If because Neil and I have to share a room. I have to. Sorry.
You don't have to.
That's a terrible way to say it. But we share a room. And I remember you guys are all about the night shirts, but Neil's my friend. Like the idea of, no, can't do it. Neil, wear pants. You have to wear pants.
I normally,
you, Annabelle, is it?
Yes, it's like if I was with a brother, right, and he's just like free, that freaks me out. Like, no, you need pants. You need to be contained.
Oh, he's
pants.
Covered up. It's just swinging free under there.
People sit and no.
I like the night shirt. It's very comfortable.
No. I don't care.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
Don't you ever wear a skirt?
It's nice to go outside. Usually when we go to a new city, I always like to try to urinate once outside in a new city because it's a nice experience.
I love urinating outside.
Yeah, it's the best.
I just did a little while ago while I was on the phone with you.
But
me and the dog, especially in the yard. Huh?
Do you go to conventions and decide you need to do this outside? The first convention Neil and I went to.
No, I don't recall ever doing it. I may have, but I don't recall doing it. I'm sure I probably have.
I'm like, no. There's certain things that just, no. I don't know how John put up with it. His other co-host, John, just like deals with it. No. I will not go to conventions with you. No.
I do it at most conventions at least once, or when we were in New York.
Jesus.
I had a roommate, Mike Sweeney, who used to just stop and he'd be walking down the street in Chicago. He just ducked between two parked cars and take a whiz. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm walking down a city street in broad daylight. He just keep on talking, you know. I'm like, hey, well, where are you going? Just a second, you know. It's just between two parked cars and take a whiz.
But that's necessity. That's something he had to do. Neil goes out of his way to just urinate in public.
Not in public. It's not like we're in a restaurant. I just stand up and like, hey, is that the bathroom? That plant over in the corner? Yeah. And I just like.
It's not like Neil's having a rough time and he's gonna miss out on a toilet. He just, not in my presence, but apparently he just decides he's got to wander into the world and piss somewhere to like Marcus. He's got to be like a manly man and piss on something.
No, it's not being manly. It's a good experience. You got the cool breeze. There's just something nice about it. You're like one with nature.
Annabelle, you ought to try it sometime.
I've been places where she had used the bathroom and we parked somewhere and she just went down like an alley.
An alley? When did that happen?
It was one night when we were in Boston, and we stopped at like a donut place, and they said like they wouldn't let you use the bathroom, and you end up just like going somewhere like
in the alley,
or somewhere in the road.
Well, what am I gonna do if there's no toilet? I can't just piss my pants. That's necessity.
But I'm not the one bitching about it.
Huh? I bet you wish you were wearing a skirt that night.
Necessity versus free choice. It's totally different. I'll tell people out there, always carry a roll of toilet paper in your car. It's just smart.
I always have a roll of toilet paper in the trunk.
See?
And it's all smashed flat now because I've thrown luggage on top of it and everything, but it's still back there.
It's still ready if need be.
Yeah. You should never be without toilet paper.
I do remember when I was a kid. Well, not like a kid. I was probably in my late teens, and one of my neighbors mentioned like seeing me urinating outside, which I always thought was really weird. Like, why was he watching?
Yard by the mailbox. By the mailbox. That's wrong.
Well,
he's not. John, he's not like you in the middle of nowhere. He's on a small, like, cul-de-sac thing. His is really across the street. It's like a tiny little street, not like a big, giant street. There's no big, giant driveway. It's a little house, like, with no front yard across the street from a house with a very small yard. He's going to piss by his mailbox.
It's a front yard, but I can't on the other side because my neighbor has this motion detector for lights. And so I've done it before. I've been out there to relieve myself. And then all his lights come on outside. Because, like, if you're like...
Yeah, that kind of screws it up.
Yeah, like, God, what's this guy's problem? You know.
His problem is you pissing where he could see you. My God, I'd move if you were my neighbor. Oh my God, I'd be so afraid for myself. It's not even just pissing. It's just character.
I remember my cousin from San Diego, my cousin Jack, teaching me how to take a beach piss, where you just squat down like a caveman and kind of like you're just sitting there, you know, talking, just squatting down, just enjoying, and you kind of just, oh, never mind. I can't describe it.
I can think about it though, because then it just goes in the sand, and it's not like
it just goes in the sand. You just kind of because you're wearing a bathing suit, you're not doing it in your bathing suit. You're kind of running your junk down out one the inside of one leg, and you kind of just piss straight down to the sand while you're sitting there. You can actually do it with people around you there and realize you're doing it. He's so good at it. Of course, he grew up in San Diego.
Maybe they were so disturbed they just felt like they couldn't say anything. What are they going to do? Why are you saying anything?
That could be it. What are they going to say? What the hell are you doing?
Because if a man is bold enough to piss out the whole of your leg talking to someone right next to you, they probably don't want to mess around. Let that go. Just pretend it's not happening and go along with their day.
Well, hey guys, do you have any more questions for me? I'm going to have to wrap it up.
No, but we've had you for a long time. Just let everyone know, Salt City Horror Fest is Saturday in Syracuse, and we'll have to have you back on more often. You don't always have to stay 2 hours. You can come and just talk to us for a little while.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
If you want. If you don't have to.
Okay. No, I always enjoy talking to you guys. I sure miss you. Yeah. We need to have like martinis. We need martinis together.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, martinis and chicken wings.
Yes.
Oh.
I think that was the last time I was in a casino.
I like the environment. I wasn't there making money because I heard that was a problem because people spend their money in the casino.
What?
I heard people were spending. There was a concern that people were spending their money in the casino, like
people that would go there to spend money on instead of the convention, they would spend it in the casino.
Oh, Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love.
Yeah, I made a little bit of money, but my partner, Terrence Muncie from Indianapolis, the artist, he sold everything he had that weekend.
Oh wow!
Oh shit!
Terrence sold everything. Really nice he sold out.
Yeah, he calls
very
in
nice
every once
guy.
in a while.
Yeah.
But he was sold halfway through Sunday. He didn't have anything left to sell, so he did quite well there. And it was the kind of thing where he really needed it at the time. You know, he was desperate. Yeah. You know, because when I said I just put it out there, I needed to get to Atlantic City. I had no way to get there. Mm-hmm. They wanted me there, and I had no way to get there. And I think I just posted on Facebook. And he said, if I can share a table with you, I'll take you there. And so we shared a room and table and everything. I took the bus to Indianapolis, and he picked me up in Indianapolis. We drove to Atlantic City and did that show.
That's a big trip.
I had a good time there.
Yeah, we really liked that convention. It's too bad I don't think they're doing it anymore, but we always had a good time there.
I think they did one more after that, maybe, and then that was it.
Yeah, I think
it was neat being right there on the fucking beach or the boardwalk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if you'll.
I found a really neat tavern around the corner too, where all the locals went.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I got a pint of Guinness and a really good grilled Swiss cheese and bacon sandwich, which is one of the things I just adore. Huh?
We found a good sub shop and we stopped because we were passing it. It was called Sack of Subs. Like, you got to stop at Sack of Subs. And it was a really good. I can't remember the name of this beverage. Great steak and cheese.
Yeah, it was really good subs at that place.
And I thought Atlantic City was kind of depressing but interesting at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because everything was kind of closing up. I mean, there was a lot of shut down stuff. You know,
yeah.
It was kind of borderline dingy, dirty, and it was a very strange place.
Don't walk around at night in Atlantic City when you're not on the Strip. It's not a good area. And I've been to a lot of cities, and it was the last time Annabelle and I went there, and I went by myself at that night, and I'm normally not worried about anything, but it was not a good experience. I only walked a little ways, and some guy even tried to sell me cocaine, and I was like, No, it's good. And he's like, I can hear change rattling in your pocket. I know you got money. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
so
man.
I ducked
I'm
into,
usually fearless in cities, and I've lived in some shitty neighborhoods. I remember my first apartment, actually. So I was like 19 years old, probably. And I'd moved out of I'd been living in a dormitory at Roosevelt University for like the first semester when I was in theater school. So I lived right downtown Chicago. And then me and another guy from the Art Institute and another guy from the theater school I went to got an apartment together, and pretty much in the ghetto, But it was a really good deal. And it was a neat apartment. And but I came out one morning. Well, one morning I decided not to go into class, or I didn't have a morning class or whatever, and I got out of the shower and I was alone in the apartment. And I thought I heard somebody knock on the door of my apartment. We lived on the second floor, and I had a towel wrapped around me. I opened the door, and there was a kid standing there with a crowbar trying to pop the door open. And he like dropped the crowbar and ran. So we ended up with a crowbar in the house. But but I remember coming out one morning and and on my stoop, because the first floor apartment was like a garden level apartment, was like 3 steps down. The woman and her 2 kids that lived down there, and then there was steps up to the first floor, and then we were on the second floor. So I came out, so there was a stoop there, and I opened the door at 9:00 in the morning to go downtown, and there's a drug dealer sitting on my stoop, and he looks at me and goes, "Cop some skag, man?" I said, "Skag? It's 9:00 in the morning." I didn't say no. I said, "Who does skag at 9:00 in the morning?" He goes, "Hell, I don't know, man. I don't know what your thing is, man." So I tell him to fuck off, and then I start walking down towards the L station, which was a half a block away. And a guy comes running out from under the L tracks with a stack of 8. This is 1972. With a stack of 8-track tapes, like from his hand and tucked under his chin, like about 15 of them. Going, tapes. What's some tapes? He apparently had just ripped off a car the next block over, stole all the tapes out of it. I was like, God, and that all happened within about 30 seconds of each other. But I was never, for some reason, was never scared. I was always fearless, and my attitude was always that they prey. People like that prey on fear.
Yeah.
If you act like you're not afraid, they think that you're up to something. He should be afraid of me. I don't know. Leave this motherfucker alone, man. He's not afraid. So, but now I'm old. I don't know if I could pull that off anymore. But,
yeah.
Just
Custom skag. It's 9:00 in the fucking morning. What's that?
When you pulled out that sweet accent, it reminded me of your Cools motherfucker.
I thought the same thing. Mm-hmm. Cools,
what's
motherfucker.
That?
Remember the kid?
Do you want me to tell that story?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got on air.
Okay, so I'm walking into it was either the Fullerton L station or I think it was the Belmont L station, because it was a little bit bigger and it had like a candy counter, and you could buy candy and cigarettes and newspapers there. And I'm walking in, and there's this little African American boy, a black kid, standing outside. He goes, "Hey, mister." I said, "Like what?" He goes, "Hey, cut me some squares, man." I said, "No, man." He goes, "Come on, man, come on, cut me some squares." I said, "Okay." And he gives me 50 cents. That's how cheap cigarettes were back in those days. He gives me 2 quarters, and I said, I started going. I went, "Oh," and I turned around and said, "Wait a minute, what kind?" He goes, "What kind? Cools, motherfucker." He must have been about 11 years old. I wonder where he is now.
Smoking some cools.
Cools, motherfucker. Yeah, you had to see the little kind of attitude. It's better in person because I can do the little kind of physical shit he did. But
yeah.
Cool, motherfucker. I don't even think they make cools anymore. They all switched to Newports. all the menthol smokers switched to Newports.
Troy smokes menthol.
Those menthol cigarettes?
Yeah, they were menthols. Cool, motherfucker. Why do you think they call cool, motherfucker? They're menthol, motherfucker.
Troy wants to apologize. His microphone died, and so he can hear us, but he can't talk. But he wants to send his love to John.
Yeah, we gotta get the old gang together again.
Yeah.
Before I die.
Stop it.
I knew you were going to say that. You're so sensitive.
Yeah. Well, I almost died last year. Anybody can die at any.
I know, man. You almost died twice.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
A few times up. That over those
did
3
you see
months.
the tunnel? Did you see the light at the end of the? Did you see the tunnel and the light and everything?
I had weird dreams when during the surgery. It was a weird experience. But when I was bleeding out, I actually felt very calm. I really thought I was dying because it was so much blood. I just thought, well, there's no way they're going to get me to the ambulance. I mean, to the ER in time. But I wasn't like scared. It was just I just felt calm. I just thought like, well, this is it. It was a very strange experience. I mean, blood was just flying out.
There wasn't enough blood going to your brain, so you got all relaxed.
Maybe, I don't know, but
all over the floor.
I mean, everyone around me was very nervous.
It's kind of like freezing to death or drowning or whatever, I guess. They say once all the air is out of your lungs, and once like if you're drowning, once the air is all out of your lungs, you're not choking any longer. It's just like really, you just kind of drift off.
Yeah, they had to.
Or freezing.
Once I got to the
find out what it's like to drown.
Yeah. Once I got to the ER,
burning to death is really relaxing.
Once I got to the ER, they had to cut me out of my clothes because it was all drenched in blood. It was like, and it was
I think that would be the fucking worst way to die, would be burning. What were you saying?
I was just saying, when I finally got to the ER, they had to actually cut me out of the clothes because all my clothes was soaked in blood. And it was like, it was like jam almost because it was like thick. And,
gross.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
I don't know why I'm laughing about this. It's pretty serious, but it's kind of funny thing at the end. But my daughter and my ex-wife were in a terrible car accident many years ago. My daughter was in the 4th grade, and it was some bad shit. And my daughter had to have surgery on her ankles, titanium screws in her leg, and all this stuff. But when they were now, she had that for Christmas. She wanted a bomber jacket, and I found she got this really neat bomber jacket, and the lining had old like World War II maps of the Pacific inside of it. The lining was it was a really neat jacket. She just loved this jacket. So she only had it for like 3 months because it was February when they had the accident, because it was icy and they slid off the road and hit a tree and all this stuff. But when I came to get them, when they were being released from the hospital, a few days later, and I picked up her jacket and it was in 2 pieces. They cut her fucking jacket off of her.
Wow.
Up one sleeve, down the other sleeve, and it was in 2 pieces. And I said, they cut your jacket off of you? And my daughter, who was in the 4th grade, said, don't you remember, Dad? You called them a bunch of scissor-happy assholes. But I was in such shock. Anyway, apparently I'd walk in and seen they cut her jacket off. I called them a bunch of scissor-happy assholes. She had to say it with a big smile on her face. Don't you remember, Dad? You called them a bunch of scissor-happy assholes. Apparently I swore at the medical staff.
That was a nice coat. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. They could have just taken it off. She had a head injury. Right? Why would you cut her fucking jacket off?
It probably took more time to cut it than to take it off, just like a normal coat.
It was her ankle and her head, but of course they probably want to jerk her head around a lot. So.
Yeah.
I was really upset about the jacket, apparently.
They didn't cut
listen, I have to go. I really do.
You gonna eat some fajitas?
Yes, I have to go eat cold fajitas. No, I'll heat them up.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
It was really nice talking to you. I hope I answered all your questions. I hope I was a good guest.
Definitely.
And I hope thousands of people have heard my booger stories and everything.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope to see you down the road this year.
Yes.
I was hoping to do Texas Fright Bear, but I don't think that's going to happen again. I seem to I'm persona non grata at Texas Nightmare, even though I was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, there's a lot of politics in this business. Yeah. And I can be less than diplomatic at times, I think.
What?
Which, so.
Well, that story I just told about scissor happy motherfuckers, something like that? What are you talking about? Diplomacy.
What?
If anyone ever asks about you, I always put a good word in for you. I don't know if that helps.
Yes, please do.
I do.
Please do. Tell them I'm the nicest guy in the world.
Yes.
And that's
you.
damn near true, really. Yeah. I think I'm a really nice guy.
I don't think so.
But like I said, I don't tolerate political nonsense very well. So, because I'm really smart and I never lie and I'm always right. So, that's that story. I gotta go. I love you guys.
All right, we love you too.
Love you too.
Yep.
Bye, Troy. I know you can't say goodbye to me, so I'll just say bye, Troy. I love your long, luxurious hair. And I hope he's listening.
He is.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
See ya.
Have fun in Texas.
We will.
And I'll have fun in New York.
All right. Yeah, have a good time.
All right.
So, yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey, this is Bill Mosley, Otis Driftwood, and Chop Top Sawyer, and you're listening to Without Your Head.